Welcome to the winners bracket of the Newbie Rumble 4 tournament. This is the second round of matches. In this match we have the Hibernia class destroyer by Yetiyonga on the left versus the Polar Star by Huginn on the the Hibernia class destroyer by Yetiyonga on the right versus the Polar Star by Huginn on the left. So let's have a quick look at each other's ships. This is the Polar Star by Huginn. Lots of big diff guns on the top, not a lot, bit of some missiles on the bottom, decoys I think, and that about covers it. Its primary arsenal being the giant diff guns, and over here we have the Hibernia class destroyer by Yetiyonga, which has this, which looks like a Seawers, some missile systems on the top, and more missiles there, and more missiles there, so quite missile heavy. And yep, let's get the match going. In 3, 2, 1, fight. There's that first barrage, and it looks like it's gone way off course. There's another barrage coming in. Missing, getting a hit here and there. For some reason the Hibernia class doesn't seem to be firing its missiles, unless it already has. Oh yeah, it's been making some hits. Similar amounts of life remaining. There's another missile barrage coming in. Some big enemy hits. See, that decoy was a little bit too late. Waiting on the reload of the diff guns. And there's the next missile barrage coming in hot. Will it manage to make it? Oh, making a good hit there. Knocking out the turrets, and another one coming. Oh, wiping out more of the up top. Oh, and a big hit by what seemed like a torpedo there. Shedding shockwaves through the craft, just down to 80% and appears to be largely disabled. And it's listing over. The propulsion is no longer functional. You can see there's a great big gap in the bottom of it. Alright, it seems to have blown out the side practically. The Polar Star is taking a bit of damage as well, but those giant diff guns have certainly made their mark. The Hibernia class destroyer doesn't appear to be fighting back anymore. Some of the cannons have been damaged. A few more hits there. And then missing. Must be set to target above water. And it's tipping over. See, the bottom side has been blown out. And it's largely a husk of its former self. The Hibernia class is down to 0 materials. It must have hit its material reserves, and once you've got no materials left, you don't really have much to fight with anymore. Another big hit. Starting to sink. Below 80% and sinking. And this first round will go to the Polar Star. Well done. And we'll move on to round 2. So once again, we've got the Polar Star on the left versus the Hibernia class destroyer on the right. And 3, 2, 1, fight. There's that diff gun going off. Can it make a hit? Not quite. Or 1 or 2 shells managing to make it. Slightly more successful that time. See the missiles doing some good damage. Mostly looking off the oblique on the outside, I think. And some of those big torpedoes are away. It's listing over again. It appears to have had its front turret knocked out. Propulsion is no longer functioning. No torpedo defenses, I don't think. And it's pretty much a sitting duck with no propulsion. Ooh, great big hit there. And another one. See the insides sort of completely torn out. Managed to do some damage, but not enough. The Polar Star with its 4 big turrets has plenty of redundancy, so even if 1 or 2 gets knocked out, you should still be able to deliver devastating blows. Down to 75%, however it appears that all its weaponry is disabled or removed. Again, it's down to 0 materials. There must have been some material storage that was in here that is gone. It's starting to capsize. It's now upside down. It's getting its backside blown up. Down to 62, somehow still not sinking. It's actually righting itself somehow. APS largely missing. Skipping over the water. Yep, and the AI just took a hit there. And the second round will go to the Polar Star. Well done. The Polar Star will move on in the winners bracket, while the Hibernia class destroyer will move down to the losers bracket. In this match we have Ugly Ship by the Boat versus the Sniper by Jeoshy. So on the left we have the Sniper by jeoshy. Let's have a quick look. So this is the Sniper. It's uses its 2 APS on the top to deal devastating damage while keeping its distance and sniping from range. A lot of torpedo defense on the bottom, a little bit of anti-missile on the top by the look of it. And over here we have the ugly ship by the boat, which has some big fat missiles on the top, some rail-assisted APS, and not much else. And let's get the match going. In 3, 2, 1, fight. And the sniper has started sniping already. The ugly ship taking a decent amount of damage, but returning fire. Somehow seems to be missing quite a bit though. Possibly lacking a bit of detection, especially against a craft that is so low in the water. And you can see the sniper rapidly reversing, maintaining its distance, doesn't want to get in close range, just wants to sit at a distance and pick the enemy off. The boat is getting peppered with shots, and you can see that it's getting its front blown off, trying to get in range, and it seems the missiles that were on the top are gone. However, the APS is still functional and firing away, but not doing any noticeable damage. And it seems like the turret just got destroyed, which leads me to believe that there is probably no more real offensive capabilities with the ugly ship, unfortunately. And it's just getting its insides picked away now. See parts of the APS all getting blown off. The ugly ship's down to 75% and rapidly shrinking. Fairly one-sided. The ugly ship still has about more than half of its mass left, but seems like in the back half there is little to nothing apart from perhaps engines. And it's run out of materials, run out of propulsion. Perhaps the engine was damaged or destroyed. You can see a clean line going straight through, and it's sinking and below 80%. And this first round will go to the sniper by Jeoshy. And we will move on to round 2. And we have the sniper on the right versus the ugly ship on the left. And 3, 2, 1. Fight. Going much the same as before. The missiles not firing, I'm guessing because, oh no, there they go, but sort of failing to launch a little bit based on the fact that the turret is facing in towards the ship. But they're away. I'm assuming they're going to be decoyed fairly quickly. Yep, you can see all the decoys coming in to destroy it. And it's gone. The ugly ship is getting peppered with shots once again. There's the missiles away. Torpedoes. Once again, there's the stream of interceptors coming in and dealing with it in short fashion. The sniper still on 98.8%. No appreciable damage. See it firing those interceptors to deal with the torpedoes. And ugly ship still able to fire. However, it seems the APS is just not really effective at this distance, and it doesn't seem to have the detection necessary in order to make its shots connect. And it's sort of bouncing up and down in the water now. And took a big hit there. Sort of bobbing up and down in and out of the water. Oh, and it's doing a little dolphin maneuver. Dolphin diving. And got 1 penalty point. It's coming back up again. It's breaching like a whale. Very interesting behavior. Seems to be happy to stay under the water now. Maybe it thinks it's safer. And another dolphin dive. It's just putting on a show now. It knows it's over, so now it's decided to do some dolphin dives. And something important, yeah, below 80% sinking. And the second round goes to the sniper by jeoshy. Well done, jeoshy. jeoshy will move on in the winners bracket, and the boat will move down to the losers bracket. In this match, we will have the totally normal barge by Johno on the left versus the copper serpent by airpnp on the right. Let's have a quick look. So this is Johno's barge with its hidden secret weapon systems and interesting design choices and sort of unorthodox ship design, versus the much more recognizable battlecruiser type setup by airpnp on his copper serpent. Nice coloring. It's got your 3 APSs on the top, quite a lot of detection spread around, some interceptors on the front, missiles on the back, some more stuff on the bottom. And let's see how it goes against Johno's interesting design. Okay, fight in 3, 2, 1, go. Johno's barge rapidly moving into position. Copper serpent possibly have shot itself, I'm not sure. It took some sort of damage from something. Barge is rapidly taking damage. Whoa, it's taken some big hits. Those APSs doing some good work. Possibly the missile system. Yep, the missiles are coming in. Barge is getting dangerously close now. Whether its weapon systems are still functional, I'm not sure, but if they are, it could be devastating. And here it comes. Whoa. And the copper serpent taking significant damage to its front side. That front turret is just gone. However, the barge is taking significant damage. And it's moving back into position for another shot. But not firing. Possibly damaged, I'm not sure. And that was another shot, but slightly weaker. Oh, and there's the rest of it. And the backside of the copper serpent is gone. It no longer has this ability to move itself forward, so it is dead in the water. And the missile system is gone. Oh, the AI was dead. Okay. Very, very interesting battle. Wow. So this first round goes to Johno's totally normal barge. And we'll move on to the next. Okay, we've got the Copper Serpent on the left versus the totally normal barge on the right. And 3, 2, 1, fight. Once again, the barge is picking away at the... Sorry, the Serpent is picking away at the barge. The missiles are incoming. Hoping to score some kind of critical damage that will knock out those devastating cannons. So far, nothing too appreciable has been done. Barge is getting dangerously close now. And out come those big cannons. What will happen? Oh no. And the backside again has been shot, and I believe that must be the way the AI is living. Yep, you can see the AI in there, narrowly escaping destruction. Both opponents on roughly 90%. Oh, and one of the turrets fell off. For whatever reason, the APS don't appear to be firing. However, Johno's barge has decided to go underwater now. So this match is looking like it could be a win for the Copper Serpent unless it can somehow right itself. The propulsion is largely air-based propulsion, I think, so yep, this is looking like a win for the Copper Serpent, evidently taking out some sort of important propulsion component of the barge, and it is unable to get itself back out of the water. Yeah, so in a surprise upset, the round 2 will go to the Copper Serpent, and we'll move on to round 3. Very quick rounds. Could go either way. Okay, and in the last decider round for this match, we have barge on the left versus the Copper Serpent on the right. And 3, 2, 1, fight. You can see that APS firing away, and the missiles are on their way. Taking out some big chunks of the barge. Possibly important chunks. It's hard to tell. Barge is moving into position for its cannon strike. You can see the cannons are quite well protected behind all that armor, but they have taken some damage. Oh wow, huge hit there. Once again, narrowly avoiding the AI. Copper Serpent is still functional and firing, while the barge has taken quite significant damage. Fortunately, it seems that nothing too important was knocked out from the Copper Serpent. Barge is looking slightly worse for wear, but it's moving into position, possibly for another shot at firing. And its detection tower just got bonked. And it's coming in. It's quite a bit of distance between it this time. Not sure if it's going to be able to fire. And the cannons sort of got stuck, it seems. Oh, it's aiming the cannons. And it seems like that shot largely missed. Copper Serpent, however, seems to be... its engine is destroyed, maybe. However, it's still able to fight, and the barge is going submarine once more. It has taken quite a lot of damage. It seems that the top-heavy cannons may have whacked it off, and it just shot itself. It's committing harakiri and gutting itself. And yeah, this final round goes to the Copper Serpent. Well done, airpnp. You'll move on. Unfortunately, Johno's barge possibly had some design issues that caused it to go submarine in 2 of the matches and also shoot itself. So this match goes to Copper Serpent. You'll move on in the winners bracket. The barge will move down to the losers bracket. In this match, we have the Crusader class Battlecruiser Mark III by Pixel on the right versus the FR Baneling FL Takir on the left. So let's have a look at these ships. This is the FR Baneling FL by Takir. Very sleek looking design with nice fluoro lights, 2 APSs on the top, some decoys on the front, some big torpedoes on the back, and looks like a bunch of interceptor torpedoes on the bottom. Over here we have the Crusader class Battlecruiser Mark III by Pixel, which is fairly basic with a butt ton of missiles on the top and 2 meaty looking APS guns and little else. And let's get the match started in 3, 2, 1, fight. There's those APS coming to bear and they're starting to fire. Baneling down to 99%. You can see the missiles getting nicely decoyed, while the torpedoes are on their way. The Crusader class not having any missile or torpedo defense that I'm aware of. Baneling still on 100%. The APSs of the Pixel seem to be largely missing, probably because it's got almost no detection. And that back APS appears to be disabled now. And those torpedoes coming in. Pixel is down to 96%. Baneling is still remaining on 100. Seems like the back is now getting pummeled, and it is slightly submarining. That back APS is basically practically destroyed now. And this top one is no idea where it's firing off into the distance, but nowhere near close enough. Missile systems, they're loaded, but they're not firing. Weapons controller must be damaged or destroyed. This front one seems to still be able to fire somehow, which is quite impressive. Unfortunately, because it has no real detection, it is firing blind and hitting nothing. The Baneling is unfazed. Now the missiles are away. off underwater, and there goes that front APS, and knocking it down to 82%. And there goes the back APS. It's now down to 71.5. Not quite low enough in the water to be considered sinking just as yet. And it's below 80% and sinking. This first round will go to the baneling. And we'll move on to the next. We have the Crusader class on the right versus the baneling on the left. In 3, 2, 1, fight. Once again, those APS are turning around, not hitting anything. There's the missiles are on the way, and they're being expertly decoyed. Very effective defense. Look at the Crusader class. APSs are completely missing. Once again, insufficient detection. Also need to not have any idea where the opponent is really. But a vague sense of where it is, but not enough to make the guns connect. And the back APS getting blown off. Torpedoes coming in. Still firing missiles. But they are going for the decoy. Crusader class is down to 86%. APS is still functional, but it doesn't really matter because it can't hit. Just getting badly damaged. Crusader class down to 80% now. Front APS just got blown up. Not quite at a level that it's considered to be sinking yet, but it's on the way. It's now below 80% and sinking. This round will go to the Baneling. So well done, Takir. You'll move on in the winners bracket, and the Crusader class battlecruiser will move down to the losers bracket. In this match, we'll have the Bunnings Warehouse by 3D Wrecker on the left versus the FSV-6 Marshal by Eternaldoom on the right. Let's have a look at the contestants. So this is the Bunnings Warehouse with its singular giant APS on the top and quite hollow sort of design with lots of heavy armor on the front, versus the FSV-6 Marshal, which is a pack weapon based ship with some simple weapons on the side that act as anti-munition guns, but mostly just there for looks, I think. There's a little detection tower on the top and sleek design. And without further wait, let's get the match underway. And 3, 2, 1, fight. There's packs going off and largely missing. You can see that APS is also missing so far. Opponents need to get slightly closer in range, possibly making a hit there, but doing almost nothing. Not sure what the payload of the APS is, but so far hasn't been too effective. Making a hit there, but only knocking a few blocks off. And there's the pack going off. knocking out some of the armor on the Bunnings warehouse. The turret of the warehouse apparently unable to turn. It's a little strange. And possibly owing to its square design, it's... Oh, and there goes the turret. And this is probably going to be it for the warehouse. There's not much else to it. You can see the bots trying to repair the armor, but without a way to fight back, it's largely meaningless. And another big hit to the backside, and you can see the APS is well and truly gone now. All of those 8-meter long auto loaders are gone, and it is dead. First round goes to the FSV-6 Marshal. And we'll move on to round 2. Okay, got the Bunnings warehouse on the right versus the FSV-6 Marshal on the left. And 3, 2, 1, fight. There's that APS. And the pack's going off, causing some not insignificant damage. You can see it's destroyed one of the engines, sort of causing it to list forward a bit. You see that APS, and it's diving into the water, which is unfortunate. And I think it's given up and it's going back home. Still managing to get shot by the pack, however, but seems unable to bring itself back up. Possibly too front heavy to right itself. And a very, very short round. Second round going to the FSV-6 Marshal. And the FSV-6 Marshal will move on in the losers bracket. Unfortunately, that will have eliminated Bunnings Warehouse from the tournament. In this match, we have the Cram God by JDog123 on the left versus the Thorium Class Destroyer by JCavalier9 on the right. So let's have a look at the contestants' designs quickly. So this is the Cram God, which consists of one enormous cram cannon and very little else, surrounded by a ship, versus the Thorium Class Destroyer by JCavalier9 on over here. And this is a cobalt blue, sleek looking design with laser cannons on the sides and one big APS on the front. And some decoys on the bottom and top. And let's get the match going. And 3, 2, 1, fight. You can see that laser immediately going to work on the Cram God, that cram cannon possibly getting destroyed by the lasers, but no, laser's unable to deal enough damage to deal with it. They must have anti-munition set. See, the Cram God is taking some damage, but not too much. See something exploding there. And another cram shot. Oh, so very close to hitting. Cram God is taking quite a bit of beatings and quite a bit of frontal damage. Moving dangerously close now. If the cram shots can almost be guaranteed to land now. Oh, and the Cram God is backing up. Possibly decided it's too close. Oh, and a huge hit there from the cram cannon, knocking a giant hole in the backside. The Thorium Class Destroyer is down to 92%, while the Cram God is at 94%. The Cram God is shrugging off these hits. waiting for its giant cannon to reload, and it's getting up nice and close to make sure that that happens. Another huge hit from the cram cannon and pushing the thorium-class destroyer underwater. Appears that the propulsion has been destroyed, and owing to the giant hole in it, it is below 80% and sinking. Sorry, it's not below 80%, it's now 81%. However, it is starting to rack up penalty points. Unfortunately, lasers are not really too effective underwater. The cram god, however, also appears to have stopped in the water. The cram cannon unable to get a bearing on the underwater thorium-class destroyer. Fortunately, it is almost out of penalty points and has no way to get back up underwater, out of the water. So the first round goes to the cram god by Jardog123. And we will move on to round 2. Once again, we have the cram god on the left versus the thorium-class destroyer on the right. And 3, 2, 1, fight. Those lasers going to work, and there's that giant cram. Can it make it? Very surprising if it can. Oh, so very close, but no cigar. You can see the cram god taking minimal damage from the lasers and APS. Unfortunately, the firepower of the thorium-class destroyer is just not efficient to knock out that giant cram, and here it comes a second time. Oh, making a huge hit on the left-hand side, knocking a huge hole. That must be an insane amount of explosive damage, because it is just obliterated. It made a huge hole in the left side. The laser system is gone. Thorium-class destroyer trying to retreat slightly, but the cram god is persistent. And another shot, taking up another big chunk. You can see the big heavy armor box in there, which I assume is possibly where the AI is, one of the AIs is located. Cram god still functioning. Lasers trying to melt through that weapon system. That cram cannon could fire any second now and put an end to it. And there it is. And another huge hole. Somehow not knocking out the lasers completely. APS is still apparently functional. Cram god is down to 90% now. Propulsion is possibly not working anymore. If the thorium-class destroyer can make some distance, maybe it'll be able to dodge some of the cram shots. Although it is moving quite slowly. Oh, and another huge hit. Thorium down to 77%. You can see it has taken significantly bad damage. Somehow the lasers are still functional. Cram god is unable to move. However, the all-important cram cannon is still functional. Ooh, bouncing off the water there. The explosion radius being big enough that it's still able to explode on target. Can it fire another shot to possibly put an end to it? See those torpedoes slowly mincing it. Ooh, so close, but not quite. Possibly some of the detection has been destroyed, making the cram less accurate, I'm not sure. Seeming like a very close match. Can this cram do it? No. Narrowly missing once again. The APS on the thorium destroyer is still functioning, as are the missile systems. However, the thorium-class destroyer is almost out of materials. It's getting a bit low on there. And taking out the backside of the cram god, and there's another cram shot. and once again missing. Seems that whatever detection the Cram God had is possibly destroyed, or maybe not oriented to track the Thorium class destroyer anymore. And the Thorium class destroyer's laser is sort of just shooting off into the distance. The destroyer being practically out of materials. Here comes another cram shot, and going wide once again. There's those missiles away. It's possibly the last offensive volley the Thorium has in it. Cram God's cram cannon apparently still active, and the Thorium is gone underwater, and it sank, unfortunately. So round 2 goes to the Cram God once again. It's well done. The Cram God will move on in the losers bracket. Unfortunately, the Thorium class destroyer is eliminated. In this match we have a fine slice of American cheddar by Awesomeness 371 on the left versus the TM1 barge by Sunny Lemonade on the right. So this is the fine slice of American cheddar that looks a little bit like a Star Destroyer. Absolute butt ton of casemates on the sides and not much else. Some decoys on the bottom, some interceptors on the bottom. Over here we have the TM1 barge by Sunny Lemonade, which is very barge-like, with 4 APSs on the top, some big old detection tower in the middle, and that's about it. So let's get the match going. In 3, 2, 1, fight. See those casemate volley firing, however, don't think it has the range to make it quite yet. Both teams firing at each other, the barge trying to get a little bit closer. I assume it's going to move into some sort of broadsiding position. There's that casemate volley doing a fair bit of damage, knocking off that detection, which could be bad for the barge's ability to aim, and knocking off that one of the APS. Wow, quite effective there. And another barrage from the casemates. The slice of cheddar not having taken too significant damage. You can see some of the detection has come off, probably from the EMP. Both teams seeming quite heavy on the EMP damage, trying to take out the all-important internals. Both on similar amounts of health. Slugging away at each other. The barge with 3 active APS, while the slice of American cheddar still has all of its guns, it would seem. Not doing too significant damage. sort of pecking away at each other. Neither one doing particularly significant damage. See the detection towers are largely destroyed. However, the weapon systems are still functional. Neither opponent opting for any kind of missile systems. Both seeming like fairly heavily armored, but vehicles with fairly light weapon systems. Very likely going to run the full 10 minutes. The barge seeming to take the upper hand now. The cheddar down to 87%. And it's in slightly worse for wear shape. It seems that half the guns are missing off the left side and the right side as well. Starting to see some holes being poked in the armor. Beginning to see those internals exposed. Unfortunately, spamming a bunch of casemates doesn't seem to be too effective, as they were not able to deliver any significant damage outside of that lucky hit on the front APS, it would seem. Not sure if the guns are functional anymore. And doesn't appear to be firing anymore. Possibly the ammo caches were destroyed. I'm not sure. Or maybe the EMP took out all of the weapons controllers, which is quite likely. As each of those shots seems to be some sort of explosive EMP combination. Almost down to 55. A minute and 10 seconds remain. And it should approach that 2 damaged point. And this first round will go to the TM1 barge by Sunnylemonade. And we will move on to the next round. Alright, got the slice of cheddar on the left versus the barge on the right. And 3, 2, 1, fight. Is that first volley away? Managing to make some minor damage. Both opponents still on 99%. So far that front APS has yet to be knocked out like last round. Maybe it will be able to stay attached this time. Those casemate volleys going slightly wide. Once again, both opponents slowly pecking away at each other. Quite slow to do any appreciable damage. Oh, and that front APS appears to have been knocked again. Not sure what the cause of that is, and also the second APS here that seems to have it's had its nose blown off and is no longer functional. Oh, and now the third APS has had its nose knocked off. Seems to be quite unlucky for the barge. The fine slice of cheddar appears to be having quite a bit more luck this time around. With only one APS functional, it could very likely go in the fine slice of cheddar's favors this round, sorry. See those EMP rounds. Barge no longer having any functional weapons. That final APS appears to have been damaged to some extent that it is not attacking. It has been knocked off completely. Perhaps I was wrong about the casemates. They can still be effective to some degree. Getting some lucky hits. This round looking very much in favor of the fine slice of cheddar, which is still on 98%, while the barge is down to 89. And it seems like it'll just be a matter of time now until the American slice of cheddar's victory is secured. Casemates pecking away and taking out that second turret well and truly. You can see the big gaps left where they were. I take it there must be some sort of Hesh round or something, as the outer armor seems to be largely intact while the internals are getting taken out. Down to 80% now. goes that front APS, completely gone. All the remains of the second one are still in there. Can see the bits and pieces being peeled off the barge. Seems like the fine slice of cheddar is shooting itself. You can see parts of it dropping off. Must be having all those casemates so closely placed together. Friendly fires on itself a little bit. Barge has stopped moving. Some propulsion has been destroyed. So the side has been very badly damaged. Big explosion there. Still not quite dead. Nearly at that 55% mark. With about a minute 15 remaining. Almost a repeat of last round, except with rolls reversed. See the AI just sitting there, somehow not destroyed. And we're past the 55% mark, and it is 2 damaged. And we'll move on to round 3, the decider. this round going to American slice of cheddar. There we have it. Okay, we've got the American slice of cheddar on the left versus the American slice of cheddar on the right versus the barge on the left. And 3, 2, 1, fight. See if any of these turrets get bonked early on. So far, they're remaining healthy. Barge is at 100%. Oh yes, and those Hesh rounds doing their work, taking out that front APS. Remaining APSs are still functional, however, and there comes that next barrage. No major damage this time. And the next barrage is coming in. Not managing to take anything out this time. American slice of cheddar seems largely unharmed. And the barge seems to be waiting to turn before it brings its full might to bear. And there we are, the cannons are all coming online. Potentially starting to knock out those weapon controllers on the casemates. Yep, you can see all the internals starting to float away. Barge on 90% while the cheddar is on 95, and it took out that back APS. 2 APS remaining. Oh, and there goes the nose of the second last APS there. Chopped off. 1 APS still functioning. But for how long? And not very long. It appears that some of the connectors must have been damaged, as the gauge increases have been disconnected or destroyed. And it looks like it'll go the same as the last round, where the barge unfortunately has its turrets knocked out, possibly due to ineffective shielding against Hesh rounds, I'm not sure. And the round will likely go in the favor of the fine slice of American cheddar. That APS firing a few more shots, surprisingly. What with what? I'm not sure. And that APS is well and truly gone now. You can see that one at the back is completely gone, as is the one at the very front. The other two are there, but largely in name only. Big explosion there on the barge. Guessing these APS didn't have ejectors, as every time one dies, it sort of explodes. Nearly at the 8-minute mark. Barge is somehow still alive. Once again, you can sort of get a peek at the insides. Apparently all the money was spent on armor and repair bots. And that's time. So I will rule in favor of the American slice of cheddar, owing to the fact that the barge is unable to fight back and it has a significant health disadvantage. So well done, Awesomeness 371. You will move on in the losers bracket, and the barge is eliminated. In this match, we have the HMS Mulligan by Ironlad, which is this one here, which is a tiny model ship, versus the Reckless Abandon by Blucinder, which looks like this with its 2 APS and crams on the sides. Let's get the match underway. In 3, 2, 1, fight. And immediately starts firing at the Smulligan, managing to make some hits, which is good. However, owing to its tiny size, little bit difficult. Smoligan, of course, having no weapon systems to speak of. And being so small that it is difficult to hit. Fortunately, thanks to the varied weapon systems, some shots are making it. Crams missing there. See this lazy torpedo. Explosive rounds are actually pushing it around. Funnily enough, they don't seem to be doing any damage. This cram's coming dangerously close. And Smoligan is taking a battering. And it's got its nose blown off. Come those crams again. Managing to hit, maybe? Difficult to tell. Now it is just wobbling in place. Oh, and the cram definitely making a solid impact this time. Smoligan down to 57%, and it is now 2 damaged. And this round will go to the reckless abandon. Oh, and it just flew out of the air. And we'll move on to round 2. We have the Smoligan on the right versus the reckless abandon on the left, and 3, 2, 1, fight. The Smoligan is wobbling its way along. Reckless abandon poking at it from afar. You can see them hitting, but strangely enough, those APS must just not do enough explosive damage to actually destroy anything. Oh, those crabs are super close. And the electrical block is destroyed. It no longer has propulsion. Should make it a slightly easier target to hit. Down to 93%. Ram's not quite able to connect. Some of the mimics being knocked off. And that torpedo ever so close to hitting, but not quite. And some more incoming. This will be making an impact. Yep, one of them managed to make it. Smoligan is on 82% now. And some more coming. Not quite hitting. Down to 74, and it's getting pushed around by the explosions. And blown out of the air, and it's now upside down, balancing on its mast. Oh, and yeah, I think the AI got destroyed when I wasn't paying attention. And this round goes to the Reckless Abandon. So unfortunately that means that the Smulligan is eliminated while the Reckless Abandon will move on in the loser's bracket.